Our guest has joined us now, Mudashiru Shitu, sports journalist who's here making his debut and is excited to talk about the World Championship. It's great to have you, Mudashiru.
It's good to have you.
Yeah, I mean, what kind of debut are we expecting from you?
Yeah, fantastic. I can remember the first time Ronaldo came on, when he was just 17 years old.
Okay.
They were expecting much, but a lot of people got mixed reactions, So a debut doesn't necessarily mean you really to do well, Consistency really matters. So he did well.
You don't want to be or Rashford.
Taking the pressure off.
Yeah, of course, because a debut means that it makes difference into people. So I'm not promising a fantastic one, but with consistency, I'm sure you say more.
I trust you do very well, no doubt about it. Let's focus on the IAAF World Championships now. Let's give you a Team Nigeria update from yesterday. That was day 6. The Nigerians, they were in action. Cecilia's shaking her head. I think I know why she's doing that. Because yet again, no Nigerian athlete has made it into the final. Yesterday was the field event. We saw, Oyeshade Olatoye in action in the women's shot put. She managed the distance of 16.97 to place 26th overall.
Yeah.
Bad performance there from Oyeshade Olatoye. And later on in the evening, it was discussed women qualifying where African Games and African champion Chioma Enekwechi was in action. She did a lot better than Oyeshade Olatoye.
Yeah.
She threw 61.38, which is a personal best, and placed 13th overall, just one shy of making it into the final. So that must have been very, very hard to take for Chioma. But then she can take consolation in the fact that she had a personal best and going forward. Mudashiru, I mean, you know what's going on right now. No Nigerian has been to a final, not to talk about winning a medal.
Yeah, it's we did start on a very good note, and let me start with the Chioma lady.
Right.
There was supposed to be 12 that were supposed to be qualified to the final. True. Unfortunately, she got the 13th position, and she could have made that record of being the first Nigerian to get to the final.
True.
Of. Well, we didn't start on a very good note, like I said, and I think it bounds to the fact that many things not going on well. We are in the news for not the very good reasons as regards to the AFN feeding Blessing Okagbare and Odu for a competition. They didn't have intention of going for that, a big one. And at least that opened our eyes to some of us for a section of IAAF telling us that you don't put your intention or in paper to say you're going to compete, and the next thing we come back and say you are not going to do that. So I think that's even a failure in the first place, because it's really destabilized a lot of people, the athletes themselves. And I didn't see that coming again from Blessing Okagbare. Back-to-back mistake. The one she did at the All-African Games. Yeah. That was a false start. And this one going...
Lane violation.
And I begin to think, do you think it's deliberate? Because,
athletes make a mistake. I don't know why we're trying to read minutes to it.
For a level.
Okay, we saw defending champion. I'm trying to remember. We've seen so many.
Several lane
violations. I mean, this particular one. Yeah, we've seen several, like up to 6 or 7.
Yeah, several.
So
I wouldn't go as far as saying deliberate. That's very...
Okay, but let's start. Yeah, I'm not now going to say it's professional, deliberate again. But looking at when from the National Sport Festival, that was an open athlete. Everybody said Blessing Okagbare was going to run in that, but fortunately we didn't see that. Or that competition, because looking at in Rabat, there was a game that was supposed to start the next day for her. That was a Diamond League competition, and that's why I feel perhaps there may be more to it. But now I think it might just be a mistake, but which is not expected of the caliber of a person.
That's where I'm coming from. That's where I want to go to, because back-to-back, like you said, I mean, the last championships, African Games in Rabat, false start. Another championship, a major one this time around, lane violation. And like you said, usually mistakes like that don't happen too often, with a particular athlete. And it's happened with Blessing. And someone told me that perhaps Blessing is just not ready. She's not longer the Blessing she used to be, and she's not ready psychologically, mentally, and perhaps physically to represent Nigeria anymore. Because in that particular race, as well to Cecilia, you notice the beats, of slowing down on her part, and there's been talks about perhaps another injury.
Maybe hamstring or something,
Yeah.
because the way she was holding her hamstring went towards the end and all that, the way she slowed down and everything.
those are
But I don't think, I'm not going to read minutes because I know athletes don't have a bad day. We've seen Usain Bolt at the biggest stage. He had a false start. We've seen that before. So it's not like, Blessing is not the first professional athletes to do that. It happens to the best of athletes. So I wouldn't read any minutes to that. And concerning the African Games and all, I feel that maybe AFN, the only thing they have to do this time around is, if you know there is a World Championship here, we understand that this is the time where athletes are supposed to be resting. I mean, we've never had a World Championship that stretched into October and all that. We all know that. But at the end of the day, when you know that your African Games is coming like a few weeks before the World Championships, why not allow your professional athletes to focus on the big one, then use other athletes from home to go? And that's what I think they should have done without having to, kind of bother them to do traveling around and everything and all that.
And this is going to come on the positive from Blessing Okagbare, because she mentioned that she told the AFN as regards to Rabat that you don't necessarily need to go with your A-list athletes to all African Games. And that's what South Africa did. South Africa didn't come to Rabat with their A-list athletes, looking forward to the World Championship. And I think that's an advice, which I think the AFN to need to. So obviously, if Blessing Okagbare is not in Rabat, you understand, as in the upcoming athletes are in Rabat, we don't expect that what happened should have happened, because there's so much pressure on her, and at that stage there's nobody doing 100 meters for us female, you understand? There's nobody doing 100 meters special for 200 also. But this is past the era where we see the likes of we can mention names doing 100 meters. When we mentioned Megan Olali in the past, we mentioned other athletes also running for athletes, where we see the line, we see 3 Nigerians also in the final. So I think just like some sports, athletics is past gone the glory days, where in the final, even though we don't get, even championship, we don't get the medals, but you see Nigeria's 7th position in the final. So I think it's just about going back to the drawing board to make sure that we get those days before now.
Drawing board, whenever I hear that word.
Can you clean it again?
Let's go on a break now. When we come back, we'll be looking at the only Nigerian that will be in action today at the IAAF World Championships. Nigeria is a Nigerian athlete that will be in action today at IAAF World Championships. We're talking about day 7, and there's no other person than Chukwuebuka Enekwechi, who was the African champion and who's been in fantastic form. He's going to be in action in the men's shot put qualifying, where he's going to be taking on defending champion Tom Walsh. But that's just by the way. For Chukwuebuka is had a fantastic season, and a lot has been expected of him later today. He needs a 20.90 to qualify, or to be at least among the 12 best performers. And if you look at the season's best and what he needs to advance into the final, you'd say he's in a very good position to do just that.
Yeah, it's. I think one word defines him is proudly Nigerian, And I saw him at the National Sports Festival, and it was an interesting moment for him and for what he has done, also representing Nigeria in Rabat. It shows so much of the willingness in the young man, and but this is the biggest stage, whatever it may be. So to me, even getting to the final, it's a big mark. It's a medal, but it's not going to be on the podium before that. But because you see that one of the best are always in this particular competition. So to me, I think qualifying to the final, it's a very, very big one on one of the biggest stages. And this is his first time of getting of his World Championship. So to me, Chukwuebuka all the way is really representing Nigeria properly, and I think it's going to be a good one. We could only wish him the best. At least we should see a medal from him.
Medal?
Yeah, no, at least we should see him getting to the final. Why did you say medal?
I just wanted to be sure, like, you're not expecting too much from Chukwuebuka. Like I said, for me, I think
if he gets to the final, that's a plus.
That'll be awesome. And we wish him all the best anyways later today. We're still talking the World Championships, and let's talk about a peak of today. The peak of today, right here, is going to be the 400 meters final. That's for women. And Cecilia, I am very excited and looking forward to this one. Although no Nigerian, actually, there is a Nigerian there who has decided to run for Bahrain. And she's the last name on that particular slide. Sawa Eid Nassar used to be Ebele Chukwu, before ball. But that was when she was in Nigeria. Now she runs for Bahrain.
She's no longer in Nigeria. She's from Bahrain.
Bahrain. All right. Yeah. So she's going to be up against Shona Miller-Wibo and world champion Felix Francis. And this is, Cecilia, I think this is going to be the most exciting final thus far when it comes.
Where's my money on? Weibo, of course, because for her to have left the 200 meters, I mean, they all left the 200 meters for Dina Asher-Smith, and she had to take advantage, and she got it. So I thought all our attention is actually focused on the 400 meters, and I think she's going to get it.
Definitely. I don't know where else I would have placed my bet on. I think she is one athletes that very versatile. Consistent. That's why, and consistent, that's the word. That what makes us makes them a champion because of consistency. So I'm looking at so far, those who have been placed as favorite have always been hitting the mark so far, from the 100 meters, 200 meters. So there's no surprise, sort of, no surprise, I tell you, in so far. Okay.
We'll get to that.
Except that, so to me, I think I'll go with her, and it's still somewhat of reminding me, of our own Falila Tokunkoya, who has held in the past and all that. So, like I said, we hope we get to where we'll be seeing so much of us, contact Millers, the 200 meters, 800 and all that, and I pray those are years when we grew up watching them, and I think the AFN needs to do more to make sure that in the next World Championship, we should be feeding more athletes.
2 years from now, so it's usually every 2 years.
In case anyone is, Olympics. In case anyone is wondering why this is a highlight for the night, you already talked about how fantastic Miller-Wibo has been over the 400 meters, and she's the fastest unbeaten over that distance, and she's the real 2016 Olympic champion as well too. And in that particular lineup is the world champion, the defending champion, Felix Francis, and the 2019 Golden League champion, Sawa Eid Nassar of Bahrain. And that's why we're all looking forward to that race later today at the Khalifa Stadium in Doha.